Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
Good morning.
Thank you.
So I'm looking at getting automatic door bottoms, and I'm hoping that if I tell you what I need, you can suggest which model, because I see all different kinds. I'm in an apartment, and the two internal bedroom doors have a significant gap underneath them. But the problem we have with putting a regular door sweep is that we have uneven floors. They are hardwood floors. The number one reason for wanting to do this is just to reduce the sound a little bit going through those doors. I think that's, do you need to know more than that, or?
Yes. So what information can you provide where we can focus in on something? Let's start with, what is the undercut?
The undercut. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, how much space under the door?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the problem with the floors is the floors are crooked, the doors are not. So when the doors are closed, on one of them, there's maybe a 1/16 of an inch on one side and 5/8 on the other side.
Is that 1/16 of an inch, is that on the hinge side?
That is on the, yes. In fact, let me measure this more carefully for you so I can give you.
You don't have to, only because your dimensions are well within the range. I just need to know if the small side is
Okay. So on one door, we have one door that hinges on the left and one on the right. So the one that hinges on the right, maybe it's a 1/16 to an 1/8 on the hinge side, and I'm going to say 5/8 on the other side. And the other door is maybe 5/8 on the hinge side and a 1/4 inch on the doorknob side.
Yeah, I mean, so
we have like soundproofing drywall. We put that up especially. The doors are solid wood with no panels. We have added into the door frame closed cell tape, but we have that glaring hole under the door, which, without doing something about that, we lose a lot of the benefit of the other soundproofing things.
Absolutely. Yeah, I understand. I don't think you'd have a problem with any automatic door bottom really handling this. I would imagine you want something surface mounted?
Yes, please, I do. And I had looked at a couple of models. I looked at the 0, the 365, the 351, but what I wasn't clear on is, like the 365, I saw that was a round neoprene drop down, and the 351, it seemed to be two flaps, and it doesn't actually have a sound rating. And then I saw Pemco. We're looking for something really specifically for sound.
Yeah, you want the 0, 365 is what you want.
The 365. Okay. That was just the biggest one, and the cost was like double everything else. I mean, obviously we don't want to spend half the price and get something that doesn't do anything.
Well, the benefit of the 0 product is that their name is synonymous with sound transmission control.
Okay.
So their product is not only intended for this application, but it's rated and listed for applications far beyond what your application requires specifically.
Right.
Of the 0, and what I mean by that is if there's a military application and they must hit a specific STC requirement,
yes,
0 product line is what they're going to. So
right.
It works for them where there's architects, engineers, specifications,
right,
is that it would work for a residential application. Now, if you recall,
we're only looking to we want to do what we want, but right now that gap under the door is the weak point because it's such a big gap.
Right.
The
other benefit of the 0 product is that it has the squeak rubber installed, and you will think about the sound of the unit when the door is opened in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
The door, you don't want the other person to hear it. The 365, while it is among the most expensive, happens to also be the best suited for your application because that sound will be muffled to the maximum of any commercially available product.
Okay. What about, so something like the 351, can you tell me what the drawback is on that one compared to the 365? I mean, when we put on the automatic door bottom, it may be that the foam tape we have around the frame, that may become the weak point, and really we can't do too much to improve upon that. I mean, there's only so much we can do, and, you know, we're not a recording, but we do want to muffle.
Yeah. The difference between the two, as you have stated, is that one is not going to be as rated for an STC control as the other. And the difference between the two really is quite, I'm tempted to say, if you're going to spend a lot of money, what's a lot more money? You know, it is indeed, more expensive than 365. It's just better suited for what you want to do.
Yeah, it's like double the price. Is there another brand, something that's sound rated that's cheaper?
No, it's not double the price. Not at all.
I thought it was 120 versus like 60. No.
No.
Maybe if I looked at so many, I might be confused.
No, they're very much in price. One might be currently $80, and the one currently might be $60. There's not a significant price difference.
Oh, you know what? I should have told you the door width because that's probably how it's priced.
I'm assuming it's a 3-foot door or thereabouts.
It is. We have a 136 door and 135 door.
Right.
And they're both reduced about by 1.5 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Down from that.
$60 and $80, roughly speaking.
The 365 is $80?
Roughly. 365, let's see here now. You said that part number was a 365 AA for a 3-foot length. It's roughly $85.
Okay, for some reason I was thinking that was 120. So that's the one that's almost an inch thick, is that right?
It is exactly 0.916, so 15/16.
Okay, that's good. So, you know what? I mean, if we're talking a $20 difference, then that is negligible to me. I was thinking it was 60 and 120 difference.
I don't know why.
I don't know why. So when I get the 60, when I give you the measurement, I'm going to measure only at the bottom of the door frame between the stops. And when we install this, I'm just screwing this on to be level with the bottom of the door. Is that correct?
I might tweak that on the second door that you mentioned because you have an unusual slope in the door. You might want to put that a little bit different. It'll be imperceptibly not level, but you're not going to want to have the door bottom dropping that 5/8 of a dimension to contact the sill, but then the slope runs up to 1/8 of an inch at the lock side. You're going to need to account for that because what will happen is when you open the door, the lock side seal is going to be rubbing against the floor until the plunger is extended enough to start to lift. So you're going to need to tweak that a little bit on the bottom.
Okay, and you know, the funny thing about this is when the door is open, the clearance, the clearance is even less on that big side because the floor is sloping up. It's ridiculous. Every ceiling, everything. The doors are hung straight because I did them myself, but the ceilings and the floor are awful. Okay, so I'm going to go back on the internet, look at those, and so when I measure between the door stops, am I giving you the exact measurement? Because I think the door that is 36, the door that is 36, I think between the stops is not 34 and a half, I think it's 34 5/8.
Doesn't matter. Measure the distance between the stops.
Exactly.
And that is your order size.
and that's the order size, and you will deduct to fit it in?
Nope.
And then I was wondering, does that come with a plate for the plunger, or could I just like countersink a screw or something into the frame? Because I think that's going to make a divot, isn't it, in a wood frame?
It's going to have a piece of metal that will most likely be a very short, flathead undercut screw, so that the plunger makes contact with that rather than your wood frame.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you very much then. If that's the one you recommend, I'm going to go back on and I'll look on your website today and put my order in that way.
It is the one I recommend, but I did want to make one point clear. When you measure between the stops, deduct 1/8 of an inch, and in the comments field when you're adding to cart,
yes,
here is the actual net length I want you to make this to, and that will the stops less than 1/8. That's the size you want to tell us.
Wait, the stops between them. Oh, less than 1/8.
Yes, ma'am.
So I should tell you the net. So I'm going to measure,
yes,
if I'm measuring 34 5/8, I'm going to tell you 34 1/2.
Exactly.
Okay, and do I need to specify to you which one is left hinge and which is right hinged?
Yes.
I do. Okay. Okay, I'll do that, and I'll tell you what the gaps are, too, underneath.
Excellent. My name is Richard. If anything comes up, please feel free to call.
Great. Thank you, Richard. And how long do you think it takes to get these?
Realistically, allow 2 weeks to ship.
Are they cutting them at the factory so they're going to be nicely finished?
Yes to both.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program.